All right, so we're going to talk about what President-elect Trump really needs to do within the first 24 hours, so millions and millions of Americans can avoid cuts to their Social Security check in a few years. We've been talking about this for decades and kicking the can down the road. This is something that Clinton should have done, Bush should have done, the other Bush should have done, Obama should have done, Biden should have done, Trump should have done it from his first administration. Well, we've been kicking the can down the road way, way too long, and now it's crunch time. And this is essentially our last opportunity to, to stop the cuts that inevitably are going to happen. In the description, you can see the Social Security Trustees report, the CBO report, Congressional Budget Office about the cuts. So, what type of cuts are we talking about here? Um, it depends on some of the policies that come up in the next administration, but we have to choose what kind of cuts we want. Do we want, as of right now, as of today, if we don't do anything, then in 2034, we're going to see 21% cuts. If some of the policies in the next administration are passed, then we're looking at a few years earlier and more cuts, 33%. Or we can choose to fix it. And the amazing thing is, the totally amazing thing is, it'll take about 10 minutes to decide how to fix it. That's how easy it is. And I'm going to tell you how easy it is today. It'll take 10 minutes to fix. But why haven't we done it? And I'm going to teach you a trick to figure out what politicians and what people are trying to misdirect you and kind of that don't want it to be fixed, that want the automatic cuts to start in 2031 or 2034, that want Social Security to fail. These are telltale signs of those politicians and those people that want the whole thing to die, give over to Wall Street or whatever the case may be. So I'll talk about that today. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country. In my semi-retirement, I'm making sure y'all get all the benefits you're entitled to today. There's so many there are so many people that not getting the benefits they're entitled to today because they filed at the wrong time, filed for the wrong program, missing other benefits, other parts of the puzzle. So that's my job in my semi-retirement. My new mission is to make sure y'all get all your benefits. What I'm going to talk about in terms of President-elect Trump's first 24 hours, what he should do to solve this whole issue, should take about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I'm going to open it up to the floor for about the other 45, 50 minutes or so for any questions y'all have on all things Social Security, retirement, survivor benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, and all the rest of it. This is also an important season for Medicare itself. December 7th, that's the last time you can change your Medicare plan. If you have a Medicare Part D, a Medicare Advantage plan, if you want to switch back to a Medicare supplement plan, time is slowly running out. So I want to make sure I throw that out there. If you need help, reach out to my partners at Chapter. They'll be able to help you out. Okay. Totally free help. And let's see. Okay. Um, what are we looking at here? So, the protect the Social Security checks for the next 75 years. So, one of the problems with Social Security is they project 75 years. Could you imagine any other company like Apple saying, "Well, if we do exactly what we're doing right now in 75 years, we're going to be bankrupt"? That is true. If they don't change their phones and all that stuff, and they keep whatever phone they have now, 14, 15, or whatever it is now, if they don't do anything within 75 years, they're projected to be bankrupt. But Social Security has to do it at every 75 years. And that's why we've been talking for decades about Social Security being bankrupt and the trust fund running out and all the rest of it, um, which is a fact. But we've been talking about it for a few decades and we haven't done anything. And now's the time to do it. And I am going to show you. It's called the Office of the Actuary. I'm going to get a little bit into the weeds. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time in it. But let me go ahead and share my screen here. And you can see this online. I put it in the description. And it's basically the Office of the Actuary of Social Security. This came out in September, a few months ago, this year. And they basically rate every proposal out there, basically, that says, okay, if you want to save Social Security, what kind of idea you have? Well, I've got this idea. Oh, okay, let's run the numbers. Let's see how much it will fix. Okay, what's this other idea? Look at all the ideas that they have that they've rated. And the regular viewers of my channel know that I personally, and as we used to say in the Marine Corps. And if I wanted your opinion, I'd give it to you. But I'm giving my opinion here, and a lot of you also agreed with this one, is to eliminate the cap right now. Um, Probably everybody watching this pays FICA tax, Social Security FICA tax on all the money they earn 365 days of the year. If you're like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or something, you probably pay FICA tax for the first 17 seconds if you pay it at all. So that's because over $168,600, you no longer pay Social Security FICA tax. You pay the Medicare, but you don't pay Social Security FICA tax. And that's one of the main reasons the Social Security has a shortfall going forward. And if we eliminated that, so here is that proposal. E2.1, eliminate the taxable maximum 2025 and later and apply full 12.4%, because remember, you pay 6.2%, and then your employer pays the other 6.2%, unless you're self-employed and you pay both, right? So everybody pays the same. 99.9% of y'all out there, you pay FICA on every dollar you make. Let's make that apply to everybody. And if it did, guess what? The number over here, the 73%, that would solve 73% of the shortfall over the next 75 years. So what Trump needs to do, President-elect Trump needs to do, is day one, this is 76 million people are dependent on Social Security. And 40%, 76 million people are receiving Social Security. 40% of those live on Social Security alone. I did a video on living on Social Security alone with a whole bunch of programs that might help those people out. So make sure you watch that. But 40% are living on Social Security alone. And that's millions and millions and millions of Americans. And this is a very important issue that really needs to be addressed immediately. It should have been addressed decades ago, but this is our last chance before the cuts start coming. So if this was passed, 73% of the problem would be fixed. So we just need to look in. You can ask your local grade schooler or high schooler to add the numbers together and say, oh, here's another one, 26%. Okay, that one's about 75%. This one solves 26%. So there's 100% right there. We've solved the issue. Now let's go have a beer. That's how easy it is. You just take these numbers right here and, okay, here's 1%. And this one's not going to help at all. This one's only going to help 2% of the problem. So that's not a good idea. These are negative. Those are terrible ideas. 6% there. So those are all pretty bad ideas. Here's one that's 17%. Oh, okay, well, that's a good one. Maybe we'll add this one and another one and another one. See how easy this is? It'll take you about 10 minutes to add up the numbers. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do that one. So in my estimation, again, I'll put this in the remarks. It's already in the remarks of or the description there. So what President-elect Trump needs to do, the first 24 hours, he needs to get the leaders of the House, the Democratic leader, the Republican leader of the House, the Democratic leader of the Senate, the Republican leader of the Senate, the chief actuary, the guy that wrote up all these proposals to explain them, and maybe the commissioner of the Social Security Administration. So he needs 6 people in a room, put them in the Oval Office, lock the door, give them all the pizza and beer not beer, soda they want, and tell them you can't come out of the office until you get 100% solution to the problem. And that's it. If it takes them longer than 10 minutes, then, well, they're politicians, but it would take us 10 minutes to fix it by picking a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's what needs to get done. It needs to get done immediately, because the House of Representatives, because we're always in a perpetual election season, it seems like, in 2 years. Right now, the Republicans control the House, but in a couple of years, they might not. So here's the opportunity. The President-elect Trump has the executive, he has the House, he has the Senate, Supreme Court, cabinet positions. So if this is not done immediately, then it's not going to get done. And then we're going to kick the can down the road for another few years, and it's just too late. And here's how you spot a politician or a person that doesn't want to solve this problem: misdirection. Anybody watch David Copperfield? Misdirection. Look over here, shiny object over here. So you don't focus on the important thing. How to spot a politician that doesn't want to fix it, or wants the cuts to take effect so they can, give Social Security the trillions of dollars of trust funds to Wall Street. Well, they will say the money is stolen. Somebody stole the trust fund. No, This trust fund is still there. It's $2.6 trillion. Last year it was $2.7 trillion. Where'd the other 70 billion go? It went in your paychecks. Last year, the trust fund paid out 5 or 6% of people's benefits last year. This year, it's going to pay out maybe 6, 7%. We haven't got the numbers for this year. So the trust fund has not been stolen. It has not been given to Ukraine or some other countries. Maybe regular taxes. We're not talking about regular taxation. The regular taxation, general revenues. Yes, $36 trillion in debt. About 2.7 trillion of that is Social Security's that they owe Social Security. But Social Security Trust Fund is there. It's being used every single year. It was just miscalculated back in the 1980s because their crystal ball in the future wasn't as good as nobody's crystal ball is good in that we're in the future. Another way you can see if a politician is just trying to deceive you is they're saying, well, all the Social Security Trust Fund, we'd save it if it weren't given to illegals or whatever. No, you cannot get retirement benefits or disability benefits if you're in this country legally. You can get other benefits from other states or something like that, but we're talking about Social Security Trust Fund. How do I know? I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement and disability claims. And in order to, like when you fill out a form online, it's got a little red asterisk there that you can't move on until you fill out that, date of birth or phone number in that little red asterisk. Same thing in computer systems and Social Security. In order to give somebody retirement or disability benefits, then you have to put in their U.S. citizenship or their green card that you've confirmed with, the INS and all the rest of it. And until you do, you can't move on to the next screen and give them money. So this whole thing about Social Security, Social Security, we're not talking about SSI, Supplemental Security Income. That's a welfare-based program out of general revenues. We're talking about the Social Security Trust Fund, Social Security Retirement Disability. So if people are saying, well, it would all be good if we stop giving it to these people or that people, they're trying to trick you to deceive you so you can focus on that and not the real issues. And another way they do it is they say, well, that's it. Okay, raising the cap, that's not going to solve everything. That's not going to fix 100%. That's not going to give Ed his hair back. No, yeah, none of that. As I said, it's 73%. You have to do that and you have to do something else. So they're making kind of the perfect the enemy of the good in that situation. Or they attack the Social Security Administration itself. They say everything would be good if the Social Security employees went back to work and they didn't telework and all the rest of it. Um, uh, I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. We had about 100 employees. If people were teleworking, you may be for it or against it or whatever the case may be, but people are teleworking. We can monitor them just as well because they have the computer system. If they're sitting right next to me or if they're sitting 5 miles down the road in their house, the monitoring is 100% the same. So that's again a misdirection. Or they will say, "Oh, a friend of mine had a sister who had this guy he worked with that got benefits because of this, that, and the other." Or yeah, so that's again misdirection. We need to focus on the issues, and the issue is we need to solve the the 75 shortfall. And it's very, very easy. Put those people in on the Oval Office, lock the door, and tell them they can't get out until they fix it. So that's it. How do you do that? You contact your representatives, your two senators in your particular state, your House of Representative in your particular congressional district. You contact the White House and say, hey, fix it. I don't want these cuts. So if nothing happens, the president elect said he's not going to touch Social Security or Medicare. Well, then that means the 21% cuts in 2034. It has to be touched. It has to be touched. So the cuts are not going to happen during the next term, the next 4 years. They're going to happen soon after that. So saying I'm not going to touch it, that just means we're just going to we're going to kick the can down the road and we're going to let cuts happen naturally. We have to touch it. We have to fix it. So there it is. Let's go ahead and jump into the questions on all things Social Security. Let's make sure you're receiving everything you are entitled to. Looks like we already got a bunch of questions there. Let's see here. Let's jump in. And if you're just gonna you just wanted to stick around for that part, I'm just gonna answer questions for the rest of the time. If you don't want to stick around, then make sure you share, subscribe, like, and all that kind of stuff, so this information goes out to more people. More people will contact their political representatives and get the issue solved. All right. Let's see. What tools like drug testing can they use to lower recipients to SSI programs, or are they too busy? Yeah, Social Security, yeah, they're barely keeping above water. Social Security employees are at a low 50-year in terms of staffing. And again, SSI, that's not the Social Security Trust Fund. SSI, Supplemental Security Income, is a welfare based program that the Social Security Administration administers since 1974. So that comes out of general funds, the general taxation that does not come out of the Social Security Trust Fund. So let's see here. Do you have to meet with someone in the Social Security office, or can you just apply online and do it that way? Yeah, if you're talking about just regular retirement benefits, disability benefits, yep, you can just do it online. Go into SSA.gov. Most important thing is check your earnings record. Go in there, check your earnings record. Please tell everybody you know, all your young people in your life, to when they file their taxes, they're not done. They have another step, and that other step is about a few weeks after they file their taxes, go into your Social Security account, make sure those earnings got to Social Security. Because what happens when you file your taxes, you send it to your buddies at the IRS. Okay, they're not your buddies. And then the IRS notifies Social Security how much you made for the previous year. And that's what Social Security uses to eventually calculate your benefits, your retirement benefits, your disability benefits, spouse benefits, survivor benefits. It all depends on how much you earned, how much you paid into Social Security over the high 35 years. So what we see a lot happening is people don't check it, and then they have a gap like in 1981. Wait a second, I worked in 1981, but it shows zero. Something happened, didn't make it there, you didn't check. Your benefits you're going to get less benefits than you're entitled to. So it's important that you check. Very important that you check. Also, increasing drilling for oil and gas will never replace enough revenue to save Social Security and Medicare. Only raising the FICA cap, or better yet, eliminating it. Yeah, people always say, "Well, if we don't give money to that country, or we do this, or whatever the case may be, then we can take money out of the general funds and give that to Social Security." The general funds are already $36 trillion in debt. Let's, if we're going to do drill for whatever the case may be, let's pay down the debt, because there's tons of interest on that debt. But Social Security has always been, since 1935, a separate program that funds itself. So we should keep it as a separate program that funds itself, rather than pulling money from another place and giving it to Social Security. The money from another place should pay down the debt. So. Can public help grants be used as income? Will it affect SSI, SSDI, any programs? I'm 71. Public help grants. Um, Public help grants. You're 71, so you're not on SSDI. If you're on SSI, that is a welfare-based program, and if you get any other money from any other resource, any other source, then it could very well affect your SSI, because that's a welfare-based program. SSDI, if you're 71, you're not receiving disability benefits. What happens is, when you're on SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, and you turn your full retirement age, your benefits automatically switch to full retirement benefits, your full retirement age Social Security retirement benefits. So if that's the case, then you can make $1 billion a month and it won't affect your retirement benefits anymore, because you're over your full retirement age. The only thing that would affect is if you're receiving SSI. Let's see. I just can't see that happening to almost 8 million people. Yes, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and it's so easy. It is so easy. It's been that easy since Clinton, the first Clinton, and or excuse me, Bush and Clinton, and the second Bush and Obama and Trump's first term. It should have been done, but you ask yourself, why? If it's so easy, why hasn't it been done? Well, the solution is easy. It's the political will. It's politicians. And so you have to think and say, okay, if it's so easy, why haven't they done it? That's the question, right? That's the question. So, They just keep distracting you with, oh, it was given to the illegals, or it's stolen, or whatever the case may be. That's an indication of someone that's not serious. That's someone that wants to, kind of trick you and kind of change the subject. Raise the FICA and income limit. Yes, that is my personal opinion, and I've been doing these videos for a long time, and pretty much everybody across the board pretty much agrees. How will the cap on FICA taxes help low-income people getting low Social Security check? It will prevent those cuts from happening in the future. Yeah. Um, or are you talking? Maybe you're talking about something else. There's the other proposal that President-elect Trump said he will not tax Social Security. He'll stop those taxes. And they started taxing Social Security under the Reagan administration, the Greenspan Commission. In order to shore up Social Security for the future, they said, okay, hey, we need to do something. And one of the things, they raised the retirement age, but they also started taxing Social Security checks 50%, and then it was raised up to 85%. And that brings in revenue, and that's why the Social Security Trust Fund is a little bit better than it would have been. But that doesn't help low income because since 40% of people only live on Social Security, they don't pay Social Security. They don't pay taxes on those benefits. It would people that are working, making more money, getting money from their 401ks. It would help them, but it would not help low income workers at all. It would actually hurt them more because the trust fund would run out sooner. That's what I was talking about when I threw up the number on the 33% cuts. So right now, as we stand, 21% cuts in 2034. If the taxes were eliminated, and I personally believe we shouldn't tax Social Security because you already paid for taxes once. But okay, so if we eliminate it, do we have to find something to make up that shortfall? Because those taxes that people pay on their Social Security benefits goes back into the Social Security Trust Fund. So if we stop that, which fine, okay, we have to find more money, or we're going to get a 33% cut in 2031. And again, that does not help out low income earners because they don't pay taxes on that. So let's see here. Thank you for all your helpful advice. You're welcome. I will be eligible to take survivor benefits June 2025. My husband died 62 before his full retirement age. Do survivor benefits accrue delayed credits? Yes and no. But that person had to accrue them. So because your husband passed away at 62, he did not add delayed retirement credits. And you, as a survivor, cannot, by waiting till you're 70, no, you do not get delayed retirement credits, the extra 8%. So your benefits will max out at your full retirement age, unless um, unless your husband, he died at 62. If he started collecting the Social Security benefits, he might you might be subject to what's called the widow's cap or rib limb. I would call Social Security and ask them two questions. If he started collecting benefits, if he didn't collect benefits, if he never started his benefits, you're good. Then you can go ahead and start your benefits they will max out at your full retirement age. So, but if he did call Social Security and find out if it's going to increase, so because it's that widow's limb. This guy is a quack. Okay, all right. What should we say to our senator and representatives? Fix it. Send them the actuarial table and say, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing to prevent the cuts in a few years? That's going to, people say, well, it's not going to happen to me. They'll grandfather me in. Really? How do you know that? Because this has never happened before. Since 1935, Social Security has always been able to pay the people that it's, paying. But in a few years, that's not going to happen. It's never happened before. So we don't know whether you're going to grandfather in. So call them up and say, okay, what are you doing to fix Social Security so we don't get a cuts in a few years? And if they say, oh, we're going to stop illegals, or we're going to stop people from stealing money, or we're going to put, telework, and we're going to stop people from teleworking, or we're going to, whatever, then that person is not serious. and then you have to figure out, why they don't want to fix it. So, all right, let's see. Let's see. I've written my senators and representatives already and going to write again. Also wrote Biden. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for all the education you provide to the community. My question is if Social Security retirement benefits are considered income for marketplace insurance eligibility. I would reach out to, yeah, the marketplace. I'm not really great on marketplace ACA. I've got people that help out with that, but yeah. Um, does does Dr. Ed have mods? No, it's just me. I'm trying this new thing where it limits your, yeah. So I think I'm, yeah, it's just me, me and my son, but I just do this live by myself. So no fancy studios here. This is Dr. Ed Unplugged. My daughter is an adult with a disability and she lives with me. I just checked her benefits SSDI today and it shows her SSDI will decrease by $4 in January 2025. Why is this? Um, yeah, not sure. Possibly, I have to run the numbers, but there's the COLA of 2.5%. And then, Medicare Part B is increased by $10. So that might be it if she's receiving a really low benefit amount. So her Medicare just might have, yeah, taken over there. So, but if she's only receiving that low amount, I would make sure you reach out to Medicaid and yeah, and see what's going on there. See if they'll pay for your Part B. So have to stop outsourcing of good tech jobs that should be going to our young people. Yeah, yeah. The more people that work, then the more people pay FICA, and because Social Security is a pay as you go type system. The trust fund was set up specifically to take care of baby boomers, and that's what it's doing, and it's being used exactly like it should. But there's the two issues: is um, they in 1980s they thought we'd have more children and more people paying into FICA, and they didn't know that our the wage stagnation, that our wages wouldn't go up and the money would go to the people that got rich, got super rich, and they don't pay into FICA, and so that's where a lot of it has kind of gone. Let's see. Can my kid who was born in another country get benefits if I'm living overseas with them on SSDI? It really depends on if they're a U.S. citizen. You could be another, U.S. citizen born abroad. So if it's a U.S. citizen, you can live anywhere in the world except for North Korea and Cuba. Um, but if you are a green card holder or whatever the situation may be, there is on the Social Security website, it's called Payments Abroad Screening Tool. So just type in Payments Abroad Screening Tool. And because the Social Security Administration, the U.S. has what's called totalization agreements with other countries. So, they honor our kind of system and we honor their type of system. So it really depends on what country that person is going to live in. Trump is for the people. His cabinet nominees have more total wealth than 169 countries. All right. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I received a letter from a senator stating doesn't want to cut Social Security. So I don't who contact now. I'm scared. Been on Social Security for 32 years. Yeah, they'll always say, yeah, I don't. It's easy to say I don't want to cut Social Security, but it's I don't want to do it, but it's naturally going to happen because we've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas. Yeah, says okay, you don't want to cut Social Security, okay? So what are you doing? What are you doing to fix it? Um, every person in Congress and the Senate make that much money and will never vote to get rid of it if the cap, in my opinion. Yeah, that's one of the big issues of why that one will probably it's not on the agenda for the next administration of raising the cap, of smashing the cap. So, but maybe if enough people, we can get it on the agenda. Will I'll be able to get an in-person appointment if I call to? Oh, in terms of Social Security, no, probably not. They just switched to an appointment only type system. They've been talking about switching to a kind of an appointments type system forever, and they finally pushed the button, and they're now doing that. And I completely disagree with it. But if you need to talk to Social Security tomorrow, you just go down there and demand it. Says, I don't want to set up an appointment. I don't want to talk to anybody on the phone. I don't want to do a remote. I want to talk to you see the name outside the building? It says Social Security Administration. You see my check I paid into Social Security. That's what one of the terrible things about this. I was watching a congressional testimony a few weeks ago, and Congress, some members of Congress refused to give Social Security the money that you gave when you paid your FICA taxes all those decades. 99% of that went so you can get, retirement and disability or survivor benefits. But about 1% went to the administration, because Social Security uses about 1.2% of that for all the employees they have. So you paid for help. So for decades, you were paying 1% of that was paying for help when you actually needed help. You're not getting it. That's why I'm doing these videos, is because Social Security, unfortunately, is not able to provide that help. So that's why I do these. If your politicians actually supported Social Security and had them help you, then I could go back into my second or third retirement and find something else to keep me out of trouble. So, Jennifer, hello. My ex-husband died in 2020. Married for more than 10 years. I am still working approximately 85,000, planning to retire in 2025. He was retired and getting approximately 1,300 per month. Can I get his social? Yes, because you were married to the person for 10 years or longer. You're currently working right now. It depends on your age. If you're under your full retirement age, then Social Security is going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. But since you're going to retire, you should be good then. But if you're making 85,000 and you've been doing that regularly, your benefits on your own record are probably higher. But what you can do, one strategy is you can go ahead and get those lower survivor benefits, start getting those. Don't touch your benefits on your own record, and your benefits will continue to increase until you hit your full retirement age and beyond, up until you're 70 years old. From your full retirement age until the month you turn 70, you get 8% per year. It's called delayed retirement credits. So check out the numbers. If you need the money, if you need the higher benefit, your higher benefit, then go ahead and get your higher benefit. But if you can wait, get the lower benefit, survivor benefits, and then let your own increase. Or sometimes the other way works, depending on what the benefit amount is. Let's see here. My wife retired at 62. She is now 68. I plan to retire at 64. If my wife gets 500 a month and I get 2,000, will my wife's Social Security payment increase to 1,000? If not, why? Okay, wife retired at 62. She's 68. So she's been getting $500 a month. And yeah, so she'll get an extra, basically, what, $500 or something, because if you're um, it's based on your full benefit amount. So once you file, then she can file for benefits on your record as a spouse. And because she's after her full retirement age, she'll get exactly 50%. So if your full benefit amount at your full retirement age, if you waited till your full retirement age, if it's $2,000, then she'll get half of that, which is $1,000, but minus her own. She'll continue to get her $500 on her own, plus an extra $500 from you, for a total of $1,000. Yep. Let's see. Let's get some. I got a lot of people talking about the political administration and what they can do and what they can't do, which is, yep, awesome. But I'm going to try to stick to answering questions to get you all the money you're entitled to, you earned. I am still working and have insurance through my company. The prescription out of pocket is $4,400. Do I need to get a Medicare prescription plan because of the new law? That's a tough one, because about a month and a half ago, yes, 100%. But Medicare, because they changed the prescription drug, the Part D plan, effective 2025. That's why there's so much turmoil in the whole Medicare thing for next year. A month and a half ago, I would say unequivocally yes. But now they've kick the can down the road. So I would contact your HR and find out if that particular plan is considered credible coverage. If it's considered credible, it just might be because, like they said, they kind of stalled the law. Then you're good. But yeah, and if you've got any other questions on that, reach out to a chapter there or call Medicare or your insurance agent, and they can help you out. There's close to what last I saw is about 1.8 million people have had their Social Security, or excuse me, their Medicare Advantage and Part D plans canceled for next year. It's just the insurance companies said, "Hey, we're not making any money on this group of people in this part of the country or that group of people in that part of the country," so they just canceled plans. So it's a good idea to find a new plan for 2025 as soon as possible. And there's more than that have had their plans downgraded to such an extent that if you read the fine details, you would run for the hills and find another plan. So if you need to do that, reach out to Medicare.gov. Contact your insurance agent or broker, preferably a broker. An agent, they use them interchangeably, but like a captive agent is someone that works for one company. So if you call that Medicare insurance agent that works for one company, guess what company they're going to recommend, right? It's the old Henry Ford. You can have any color car you want as long as it's black. So I always recommend a broker that represents many, many companies. So reach out to your broker. Or if you want, you can reach out to Chapter Medicare. I've screened them. They're doing an excellent job. They work throughout the country. They represent lot of companies. So they can look at all your plans 100% free. So reach out to them. He's out there. We have to contact Congress. They hold the purse strings and pass laws, not the president. Exactly. So that's why I say he locks those four people in his office and feeds them pizza and soda and tell them don't leave until you come up with 100%. And if President-elect Trump is going to go ahead and stop taxing um, Social Security benefits, which yeah, that's fine. That's a good one. I wouldn't mind that. Then they're going to have to find like I don't know what the numbers are. They're going to have to find over 100%. They're going to have to find 105 or 106% or so to fill the gap because those taxes are no longer going to come in. And if he wants to do some other stuff, then they might have to find a little bit more. But it's all in the chart. It's 34 pages. Social studies teachers out there, high school, elementary, grade school, junior high school teachers, assign your students a job. Here, you have 30 minutes to fix Social Security. Go for it. And there you go. It's super, super easy. If elementary students can do it, our politicians can. Okay, am I being a little bit too optimistic there? All right. Uh, oh, this guy is one of the few people on the internet is apolitical. Good job keeping telling the country about truths about social. Yeah, I try. I of course have very very strong political opinions, but that's not you know if Marine Corps drill instructor used to say if I wanted your opinion, I'd beat it out of you. So my job is to get you all the benefits you're entitled to and make sure Social Security is going to be here for the long term. You think Republicans want to fix this? Project 2025s? Okay, all right. Let me find a question here about Social Security. All right, if I'm 64 and will be filing from my ex for over 10 years, what do I need to do? Okay, perfect. So number one thing is you have to file for benefits on your own record. Um, if that person is still alive. For a survivor benefits, you can collect survivor benefits and then wait on your own. But if that person is still alive and kicking, you have to file for benefits on your own record first. And if your ex is benefit amount, the full benefit amount is twice your full benefit amount, then you're entitled to the difference of the two. So if that's the case, then you'll need the marriage certificate, divorce decree to prove that 10 years and just go ahead and file. And here is one thing, because there's so many people losing benefits. So please subscribe and like and share and all that kind of good stuff so more people get this information. Share it with your friends and family because yeah, it's going to be crazy going forward, and people are not receiving the benefits they're entitled to now. It's called independently entitled divorce spouse. So let's say that person that just had a question, you're 64 and your ex, um, you're entitled to more benefits because their benefit is twice yours. You were married 10 years and you meet all the eligibility requirements. But that person hasn't filed for Social Security benefits yet. And you heard, even from Social Security employees, they tell people this. Come on, people, you're giving out wrong information. In social media, they tell it all the time. But your ex hasn't filed for Social Security benefits. Doesn't matter. As long as your ex is at least 62 years old, they do not have to be receiving Social Security benefits. So maybe they're waiting until they're full retirement age or 70 or never want to collect just to spite you or whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If they're at least 62, you can file for benefits on their record. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. I know it's a mouthful. So you have to file for benefits on your own record, and then you file for benefits on their record. They just have to be at least 62 years old. And here's another thing a lot of people are missing money on is, well, I can't get money on my exes because in the divorce decree they said I couldn't. Well, you've got some extra toilet paper there because that's worth nothing less than toilet paper. Um, Social Security doesn't look at that. When you go down and show your marriage certificate and divorce decree, Social Security employees, I know because I've done this hundreds of thousands of times, they look at your marriage certificate, they look at the names, they look at the date of the marriage. The divorce decree, they look at the names and they look at the date of divorce. And if it's at least 10 years, you're good. They don't look at anything else. Okay, I got to be honest. I used to like looking at the old divorce decrees from the 1970s, and I'm a car guy, and I'm like, oh, who got the Chevy Chevelle, And so, how many people got the $10,000 house that's worth $6 million now? So, but anyway, that's just yeah, that's just. Yeah. But the whole thing about a divorce decree, you can't get my benefits. Yeah, nice try, ex spouse, or usually it's nice try, ex spouse's attorney, means nothing. So. All right, let's see here. Other questions. Um, Illegal immigrants are not eligible for Social Security benefits, but those entered illegally before receiving temporary permission to stay may be eligible for SSI. Yeah, so it really depends on, yeah, so that's a kind of a distraction type of thing. You might not agree with why this person is here, but if that person was allowed in the country or it's converted to a legal status based on a congressional law, then that person, like refugees and stuff, oh, that person is illegal. Well, and Congress allowed that person, they have green cards and all the rest of it. You might not agree with it, but yeah, it's if because again, Social Security, in order to adjudicate the claim, has to put in whether you're a citizen or green card. If it's a green card holder, you have to confirm the viability, the authority of the green card. And if it looks suspicious, they reach out to the INS and say, "Hey, we've got a green card here. It's kind of worn out, and I just need to confirm the A number and everything." And the INS can, "Oh yeah, yeah, yep, that person's here legally," and then you pay them benefits. But if not, then they get nothing. All right, let's see. It is sad that I've heard that two seniors on SSD, Social Security Disability Insurance, one with cancer, I've heard it, get a divorce from your spouse to qualify for benefits. Seniors should not be being told this ever. No. Yeah, yeah, that, yeah, I don't know who would say that because it's not relevant. For Social Security disability insurance, it doesn't matter if you're married or not or whatever. Maybe for SSI, because that's a welfare based program, if you want to apply for SSI disability and you're married to someone that makes $1 million a year, then yeah, I guess to get SSI, the welfare base, you got to separate from that person because you're definitely not getting welfare being married to a millionaire. But for Social Security disability insurance, it doesn't matter what the other person makes, no relevance whatsoever. So they took money out for other things. Liar. No, that's incorrect. Again, look at the Social Security trustees report. You're being sold a bill of goods and you're being distracted. I will be 66 in 10 months in December 2025. Do you predict any cuts in Social Security before that? 2025? No. The earliest the cuts will happen is 2031. So, but we don't want any cuts whatsoever. What website do you go to check your earnings? SSA.gov. Please, everybody, and tell everybody in your family to go into SSA.gov and set up a My Social Security account. And number one is to check your earnings on a regular basis. Make sure everything is correct there. And number two, when you set up a My Social Security account, it makes it far more difficult for someone else to go in there and pretend to be you. And it's really, really difficult now. They just changed it within the last few months. You probably got an email and stuff like that about changing it. It's very difficult to set up an account now. I've had an account for years, and I had to go in there, redo it under the ID Me thing, and I had to turn on the camera and show a picture of my driver's license to the person. And yeah, so it's very difficult to set up an account. It's annoying as heck to set up an account and to update your account. But Social Security is doing a very, very good job in protecting your identity. Because if you set up an account, it's far more difficult for someone else somewhere in the world to go in there and set up an account under your name and pretend to be you and start causing you trouble. So please set up a Social Security account. I know it's annoying, it's a pain in the butt. You just set it up one time, and if you never use it, then you never use it. But at least you're protected. So if anybody ever goes in there, pretends to be you, you'll receive a text or an email or something like that, so you can stop it. So how can I verify the numbers on my earnings statement? The numbers there do not match any numbers on my W-2s or tax returns for any years. Wow, that does it. Yeah, well, sometimes you might be looking at the different numbers because, like health benefits and stuff like that, it's considered part of your income, but you don't pay FICA tax on that. So there's usually two numbers on your W-2. So you might be looking at the kind of the wrong number there. So if you have any like a 401k or matching or something like that, you may or may not pay. It depends. But yeah, if it looks as though your earnings record is incorrect, uh, the biggest thing I've seen, again, doing this for a few decades on the inside, is gap years, where you're like, no, I worked in 1985. Why is there a zero? That's because somewhere along the lines, you or your accountant or somewhere they transposed your Social Security number. It's your Social Security number is 1 2, but it should have been 2 1 or whatever. And so in 1985, it shows zero. Social Security has what's called a suspense file. So those earnings are there. You pay taxes on those, but they're sitting in this limbo, the suspense file. So you call Social Security and say, "Hey, I worked for the same company in 1984 and 1986, but 1985 it's zero. What's going on?" And if it's the same company, then Social Security has the EIN, the employer identification number, so they can look at it and look at 1985 for that particular employer, and they'll see, oh, okay, here's your name and here's the amount, and oh, I see it. They mistyped the Social Security number. They'll grab those earnings, stick it in your record, and fix it. And if you've been getting benefits, for 10 years, and you find that mistake, they will pay you back everything they owe you for the last 10 years. So yeah, it's yeah, but check your earnings record. Okay, all right. Let me get Social Security type questions. I receive SSDI and spousal at 68. Will I lose funds? Okay, so number one, you do not receive SSDI because you're 68 years old. You receive just regular old Social Security retirement benefits. So work limitations and continuing disability reviews, the CDRs and stuff you did when you were disabled, you no longer have those. You're just regular old, Social Security. And whether it will happen, that's dependent on us, right? If we push our politicians hard enough. Let's see here. Ed, I have Medicare. I'm 70 years old. I can only find one Medicare company. Are there others? I guess I would have to post my zip code for you. Yeah, if you're way out in the country or out in the desert out west or something like that, sometimes there's only one. But yeah, if I always avoid saying company names, but if that's one of the biggest in the country. If they're in your area, there's probably a lot of others in your area. So you can go to Medicare.gov, or you can reach out to chapter there, and they can see what's available in your area. And if there's something better, they'll help you enroll in it. What do you pay taxes on Social Security? I don't pay taxes, but Social Security is my only income. Yep, because if your earnings are under 24,000, they only count half of Social Security. So yeah, so you don't pay taxes on your Social Security check. Like I said, 40% of people do not pay taxes on Social Security. But if I withdraw from my traditional IRA at the bank, will I pay taxes on Social Security? That's a whole different issue. I tell people on social media, if you didn't work at Social Security for a few decades and you haven't adjudicated hundreds of thousands of claims, stop giving out Social Security advice. And I practice what I preach. I did not work at IRS, and so I'm not going to give you tax advice. Reach out to your accountant. So let's see here. Got other questions? Give an IQ test to politicians. Good luck with that. Let's see. I was married 14 years. I divorced in 2006 and got married in 2021 and divorced in 2024. Would I still be eligible to collect under my first husband? Yes. So I've had people that been married 3 or 4 or 5 times. And when you go into Social Security, they will ask you that. When you file for retirement benefits, they will say, "Were you ever married? Any of those marriages last 10 years or end in death?" And you'll say, I've had people say, "Yes, I was married 4 times and they were all 10 years." I'm like, "Okay, let's go through all four." So you go through all four, look at the records of each four of the X's and see which one has the most benefits, the higher benefit amount, and that's the one you file on if you're currently unmarried. You can remarry after 60 if we're talking about survivor benefits there. So what is the process to collect spousal benefits? My husband has not retired yet. You cannot collect spousal benefits until sounds like your current husband. Your current husband has not retired, so he has to retire in order for you to receive spouse benefits. For the independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, a divorce. You have to be divorced for 2 years. The final divorce has to be done 2 years ago in order to get independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. My wife retired at 62. She's okay. I already answered that one. Um, Said someone again, someone distracting about again. Let's see here. I think they should change the provision that 3 spouses or exes can draw on one guy. He didn't pay in for 3 drawings. Yeah, you can have 2 or 3 or 4 people, and they don't affect other people's benefits. So if you were married to someone for three different people, and your benefit is higher, then 3 different people can collect benefits on that. I think that's covered in the. I think that is a possibility um, that was addressed in the actuarial, uh, kind of projections. And I think if that happened, that would maybe increase the solvency by what 3.5 hours or something. So yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, that with the 100 little tweaks could do it as well. But yeah, raise FICA tax on those making 250 or more to 9.5% for employee and employers, and Medicare to 3%. Means test spousal survivor. Yeah, so you've got yeah, you add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yep. Let's see here. Will we ever see legislation on changing the COLA to real results in the economy with high inflation? Yeah, that's a question. I think if regular viewers to my channel know that right now, the COLA, the cost of living adjustment that comes out every year, it's 2.5 for next year, 3.2 for this year. It was at 8.7 for last year. Um, if it's based on the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, but they base it on a basket of goods for younger people. So I think retirement benefits should be based on basket of goods for retired people. If it was, then it would have been more for next year, maybe 3% or 3.5% or 4% or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think that's definitely should be checked. All right. Let's see. If I sell my house for 400,000, I'm told there are no capital gains tax under 500,000. How will Social Security affect me? Zero. No effect whatsoever. I assume you're not receiving the welfare SSI, so it's not going to affect you. Will it affect my IRMA? That's a different question. So, if capital gains, the sale of a house, will affect your IRMA. It depends on how much that is and all the rest of it. But yes, that will affect your Part B premium. You'll pay a higher Part B premium than $185, but it's based on 2 years ago. So if you sold your house and got those capital gains this year, your your Part B premium and your Part D, the drug plan, is going to be higher 2 years from now. So my husband left years ago. I have no idea where he is. We were married 15 years. Where can I find out if I am entitled to his retirement? Mine is low. All right. Excellent question, Kathy. Thank you. So call up Social Security and say, hey, I want to file a spouse claim. And they will ask the information. If you know the social, great. If you don't, no big deal. Just tell them the person's name, the date of birth as well as you know it, the place and where they were born, and the Social Security employee will be able to find their Social Security number. If they say I can't find the social, then that's just a bad employee. Call again, and someone else can find it. And then they will look at that person's record. They won't tell you how much, unless they shouldn't. They're not supposed to tell you how much more it is. They'll just say, yeah, there's more money there. Let's set you up an appointment to file a claim. And then you have to get your marriage certificate and your divorce decree. And then they'll tell you how much more money there is for you. But yes, do that immediately, if not sooner. Yeah, because there just might be, you might have received more benefits last year or 2 years ago. So please, yes, call immediately. It's still, 4 o'clock West Coast time. Call them up right after this. I'll be here 10 more minutes. All right. When my husband died, I didn't have right to get the survivor benefits because I was not 62. Okay, that's number one incorrect thing. For survivor benefits, you can start survivor benefits at 60 years old. So hopefully you didn't lose 2 years of benefits there. Now I am not sure if I will have any rights because his first wife said she got it. Doesn't matter. No relevance whatsoever. Zero. Could you imagine if one wife or one ex-husband, affected the benefits of another one? Wow, that'd be a whole different crime drama, right? CSI, Social Security. No, you could have started benefits at 60 years old, and what another spouse collects or other children or whatever has no relevance whatsoever. You are independently entitled to those benefits. If again, marriage requirements, you had to be married to the person for 10 years. If for a survivor, you had to be married to the person for 9 months, and still married when they passed away. Da, da, da. You don't have to have filed or be receiving Social Security in order for your ex to file for divorce spousal benefits. That is correct. If at least 62 years old and divorced for 2 years. I have been hearing different answers. Does a government pension count as part of income related to a income ceiling? It depends on what type of income ceiling we're talking about. But if we're talking about Social Security, a government pension, no. There is what's called the windfall elimination provision, government pension offset. If that government pension comes from like a state, local government that did not participate in Social Security, yes. But any other types of pension, it does not affect regular Social Security retirement, disability, spouse benefits, survivor benefits. What is the name of the chart that you showed us earlier, and where can I find a link to that? Thanks. I put it in the description. Yep, it's in the description. It's I put it. I titled it the actuarial chart or something. Yeah, so it's in the description. All right. Again, misdirection. Stop taking care of illegals in most foreign nations. That might help. I guess the regular revenues, but we're talking about Social Security. That has nothing. Any of that has anything to do with Social Security. Dr. Ed Unplugged. Yeah. Let's see. My Social Security is currently taxed. Unless they stop taxing, I'll end up on the Medicaid in a few years. Yeah, one of the things about taxing is the taxing of Social Security benefits. They haven't increased the threshold since 40 years since they started in the 1980s. So yeah, that's definitely an issue. More people are taxed on their Social Security benefits than definitely should. So if the next president decides to get rid of Social Security taxes or get rid of taxes on Social Security, then yeah, that's fine. But again, then If nothing else is done, then that means there's going to be more cuts sooner. Um, all right. My Social Security benefits got slashed by something called IRMA based on my 2023 tax return. The only new income I got is from payment in lieu of insurance from an employer I retired. Is that okay? Yes. Yes. So that sounds like it's correct. If you're was over 103,000 if you're single, 206,000 if you're married. If you made over that, it's a high income earners, and then you're going to be paying more for the Part B and more for the Part D. The B is in boy, D is in drugs. But it's only for 1 year. But if you disagree with that, and if you say no, then you can file what's an SSA 44, SSA 44. It's called a life changing event that you have at a life changing event, like if you stopped work or something like that. So let's see here. I'm jumping around a little bit. We only got about a minute or two. I have a 17-year-old daughter that is DAC. I am also receiving survivor benefits and severely disabled myself. I read that she could have a job as long as it was under 1,500. Yes, if receiving DAC, disabled adult child benefits, that is just regular Social Security disability insurance, and you are able to work. I've got a couple of videos that get more into the detail. Let me pop it up there. Let me move this out of the way. So the video on the top is disability and working, and talk about all the different working trial work periods, extended period of eligibility. If it's SSI, you're not receiving SSI. There's different work limitations for people receiving SSI, but watch those. Yes, next year it's called the substantial gainful activity, and she can earn up to $1,620. And then again, for the first 9 months, you have that trial work period, and she can earn as much as she want during that trial work period to try to see if she's able to work. And if she's able to work, then that's a beautiful thing. And, makes more money working and gets out of the house and all that kind of good stuff. Social Security likes that, protect the trust fund. But if she's not able to because of her disability, then disability is there for her. So, all right, let's do one last one. Oh, Rachel, thank you. I'm disabled and get Social Security. Is it possible to save Social Security? We're going to try, aren't we? And thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. All right, let's get one last question. I'm only getting 70% of my dead husband's Social Security retirement benefits when I could get the full amount. I'm 67. So, yeah, you're probably getting 71.5% because you filed early at 60 years old, or you were disabled and filed it as disabled widow. That's 71.5%. But unfortunately, your benefits never go up as survivor like that, because once you're early, you take those benefits early and you continue to get those checks, then that's going to be your benefit forever. But maybe since it doesn't sound like you touched your own benefits on your own record, perhaps your benefits on your own record might have increased more, or they're going to continue to increase until you hit 70 years old. So if that's a possibility, maybe reach out to Social Security and say, hey, are the benefits of my own record more now? Will it be more when I'm 70? And yeah, if so, then jump over onto your own record. All right, that's it. We're over an hour. I have apologize. I've got tons of questions I'm not able to get to, but I will be back again tomorrow and do another live. So cut and paste your question, pop it up first